the NBA playoffs, the NFL draft, hockey playoffs, MLB's in full swing. We are officially in the part of the sports season where honestly it's just great because you also have the College World Series, a tournament that I'm very high on coming up. And it's just great. A lot of good playoffs going on, a lot of good regular seasons just picking up, getting started, college spring games. But we're going to start off here with the NBA playoffs. And honestly, it's been great. It's been great. Clippers, Nuggets are playing right now. James Harden just went for, 15 in the first quarter at his ripe age. That is just very impressive. Pacers outpaced the Bucks today. Tyrese Halliburton hit a clutch buzzer beater to end the third quarter, and then they all took over. Pascal Siakam, Miles Turner, everyone had a good day for that Pacers team, and they got it done there in Indianapolis. A game that I am very excited to see. I'm currently recording this about 4:30, so in an hour and 30 minutes, we're going to see the Pistons and the Knicks face off. That's going to be a great game. Detroit basketball yearning for playoffs, finally getting their opportunity, playing a team that's also been yearning for the playoffs, the New York Knicks, Jalen Brunson, that whole squad, Josh Hart. That's going to be a very highly anticipated game, and I'm just so excited to see that. It's going to be in New York as well. An absolute great game. But then the game that I am looking forward to, the series that I am looking most forward to in this whole NBA playoffs, that is the Timberwolves Lakers. You have Anthony Edwards, one of the brightest young stars, probably the future face of the league once the guys like LeBron, Steph Curry, James Harden, everyone like that retires. It's Anthony Edwards' league. Jason Tatum, Anthony Edwards. It's shifting all over to those guys. This is the battle between the next generation and the old generation right now. Anthony Edwards has a chance to just come out here, cement himself as the best young star in the league, take down LeBron James, take down Luka Doncic, take down that Lakers super team, make a statement early in that 6-3 matchup, and run in the NBA playoffs. If Anthony Edwards is able to pull that off, he is going to have such high praise. He's going to validate any statement made about him. He's going to make those Michael Jordan father conspiracies even scarier. Anthony Edwards is a dog, and he has potential to pull off the upset of the first round here. The Timberwolves come out here, outpace the Lakers, outplay the Lakers. They come out here and get a solid victory, and they are staring down a great second round matchup. Opposed to that, Ja Morant in that Grizzlies team, after losing to Steph Curry and the Warriors in the first round of the play-in, they were able to bounce back, get the 8 seed, play the Thunder, who are hot, obviously. 60-plus wins this season. Shai probably going to win the MVP, even though it's a little debatable with Jokic and everything that's been going on there. Shai, obviously, seen as a free throw merchant, but I think whichever way it goes, it's a very hard MVP race this season, very close. I think you can't go wrong either way. I do think Jokic probably deserves it a little more, but they're going to water that down. The recency bias, they're probably going to give this one a Shai. And those Thunder, they're probably going to roll over the Grizzlies. I think they're one of the hottest teams in basketball. And obviously, they're a young, star-loaded team. They can kill you on any end. You have Shai on the post making plays. You have Chet Holmgren. You have just so many studs, so many young players, so many young ballers on that OKC Thunder team. And I think they're going to get it done over the Grizzlies. And then a series I'm honestly very excited to watch is that young Orlando Magic team with all those studs. We saw Cole Anthony go off the bench. That whole Magic bench went off when they defeated the Hawks in the play-in tournament, and they get to face Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and all the boys over in Boston, the reigning 2024 NBA Finals champions, and that is going to be a sight to see. What a great series. I think the Celtics are going to be able to get it done. I think they'll be able to get past who they need to. They're going to defeat the 7 seed in the Magic as the 2 seed. But I don't know. It's very questionable. Paolo Banchero could come out and have an insane series. He could lift the Magic over the Celtics. They could do the impossible. They can do much like Anthony Edwards could to the Lakers. They could do to the Celtics. There's nothing holding them back from coming out, playing an absolute explosive series out of the gun. We've seen these 2s lose to 7s, 1s lose to 8. The Heat have had a couple rounds where they just surprise everyone and get hot at the right time. I wouldn't put it past a team like the Magic, much like I don't put it past a team like the Timberwolves to come out here, make a round, and make a convincing statement. It's definitely something that needs to be watched going down the line. Moving on, obviously loading in some more games, some more good series here. Heat Cavaliers. The Cavaliers, obviously the 1 seed in the East, very, very hot. The Heat, they were able to get past the Bulls. They were able to make the tournament as the 8 seed. And I don't think there's going to be as much as a stun factor here. I think the Cavaliers are going to be able to get it done. I think that's the team that's just performing so well. Donovan Mitchell, I think he's going to come out here. He's going to have a great series. He's going to get it done for Cleveland. And Cavaliers could be scary. They can make a little bit of run in this series. And then ending it out with the Warriors-Rockets as the final series. One of the best series over there in the West. A lot of great series over there. You see the Clippers-Nuggets, Timberwolves-Lakers, Warriors-Rockets, Grizzlies-Thunder. They're all great series. The West was just so stacked, so obviously it shapes out to play just a great playoff format, great matchups across the board, and this is just young versus old again. Much like the Timberwolves-Lakers, this is a very common theme in the West. It's new gen, it's the Rockets, it's all these studs, it's Thompson, the twin, coming out here with that whole Rocket squad, facing off against Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, all the old, experienced, winning, proven playoff guys against the new, rising Rockets. Houston reformed, so that's going to be a great series. Very entertaining series. I'm very excited for that one. That's my second most anticipated one, behind the Timberwolves-Lakers, then obviously Warriors-Rockets, and then behind that, honestly, I think I'm going to have the Celtics-Magic, Pistons-Knicks. There's a ton of great series here, and I think it's going to shape out to be a great first round in the NBA playoffs, and I'm very excited to cover it, as we will, going all the way down, second round, third round, the finals, the whole gist. We'll have it covered for you here on the Brogan Hillman Show, so make sure you like, subscribe, and put on post notifications so you don't miss out when we do update with the NBA playoffs. But yeah, that's about it for the NBA playoffs. So now we're going to prepare, and we're going to go over and sort into the NFL mock draft for 2025, my official 2025 NFL mock draft. For my official 2025 mock draft, I'm not going to overthink it to start off. Obviously, the Titans, I think they're in a situation, they've been beefing up that O-line. They've been building towards this very moment, and that's to get their future franchise quarterback in Cameron Ward. Saw him, obviously, when he was playing at Washington State, transferred from Incarnate Word. He blew me away when I was watching him at Washington State for those 2 years. I thought he was just an absolute stud. He made plays that no one else on that field was making, and he truly just made a name for himself in my mind while he was still at Wazoo. Transferred over to Miami, had an absolute clinic in college football, played a great season, set the record for most FBS touchdowns in a career, I believe with 173. I could be wrong on that number, but he's an absolute stud, and it's not to overthink there at that number one spot. And then number 2 for the Browns, I have them taking Abdul Carter here. Now there's talk about Travis Hunter, and there's talk about other guys, but I just feel if you pair Abdul Carter with Myles Garrett, you just re-sign Myles Garrett to a huge contract, you pair Abdul Carter in that backfield, that is a nightmare pass rush duo. How are you going to contain that? Just an absolutely insane unit to try to put your guys on, prevent. Abdul Carter and Myles Garrett would wreak havoc for years to come, so that's why I have him here at this 2 spot. And then with this 3 spot, I have something interesting. There's talks about it being Travis Hunter. There's talks about it being other guys. I have it being Shedeur Sanders at this 3 spot. I know that they just went out and got Russell Wilson. I know these things, but Shedeur Sanders, he's felt like a giant for a while now. There's been so many talks about him in New York. I could very well see him in a Giants uniform, learn behind a Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP in Russell Wilson, MVP of the league, one of the best players during his time. You sit back, you learn behind him, just like Justin Fields was doing in Pittsburgh this past year. You just let him, learn his rookie year, get going, get acclimated to the league, transfer over, and then he could be a force for years to come. Obviously, he has that primetime DNA, and he could show it off in the Big Apple. I have Shedeur Sanders landing in New York. Then number 4 for the Patriots, it's not going to be overthought. It's the Heisman winner, Travis Hunter, one of the best, the most talented player. I'm going to go ahead and say it, the most talented player in this draft class, two-way, one of the most special things we've seen in a while, one of the best receivers, and one of the best DBs in this class. I do have him playing DB, pairing up with Christian Gonzalez, but obviously he's going to add that versatility to your room. He's going to be able to shake things up. You can throw him in on a trick play, you can throw him in on kickoff, punt return, you can do whatever. This is the Heisman winner for a reason. Absolute stud, a beast never seen before, and he will be landing in New England to play with just such a young, growing squad. And then the Jaguars, they're going to go ahead and take Mason Graham off the board. This seems like a sure pick, something that you see in a lot of mock drafts. They're thin at D tackle. They need some help on the line. Mason Graham, a 2-year starter at Michigan, a national champion, and he knows how to get it done. He's a stud. He gets in the backfield. He's very athletic, can get off the line fast, and Mason Graham is going to provide that depth that you need at D-tackle, and he's an instant plug-and-play starter there for the Jaguars. And number 6, the Las Vegas Raiders, another pick that has seemed like a surefire thing for a while. We've seen so much talk about it. I'm going to go ahead and enter it in. It's Ashton Jeanty. He just seems like a Raider from the jump. We've seen it so many times, so many mocks. I have him mocked there. Everyone else has him mocked there. And it just seems like Ashton Jeanty is destined to land up in the desert and land up in Las Vegas with the Raiders. Moving on, number 6, the New York Jets. Number 7, that is. Number 7, the New York Jets. We're really blowing through this already. Armand Membo. This is another one that seems like a surefire pick. The first round, if it doesn't take a little detour, I believe it's pretty set in stone. But there is a chance that if things go south, number 3, the Giants shake something up, or the Patriots shake something up at number 4. We've seen it happen before. There could be havoc down the board. That could cause a snowball effect. That could cause an avalanche heading down the first round. This is one that really could go unpredictably if something were to trigger it, say something rumbles and the whole bridge collapses and something could go crazy. This is a draft that really could get shaken up. But I believe it's going to be a pretty solid route down the line. 7, Armand Membo, such a solid offensive tackle out of Missouri, adds great line to protect your new quarterback in Justin Fields. The Jets get their guy there in Armand Membo. And number 8 here for the Carolina Panthers, a young, very athletic squad growing. They need edge rushers, and one of the best ones in the draft is sitting here at number 8. You pair him into a great defense. You just re-signed J.C. Horn, making him the highest paid corner per year annually with a 4-year, $100 million contract, $25 million a year, and that is the highest paid contract in all the NFL. So you got to go out and get a young guy in a rookie contract. Jalen Walker, an absolute stud out of Georgia, provides just that for you. Instant plug-and-play starter there for Carolina. They beef up that defense a little bit, and they look to bounce back and have a great season there in Carolina. Number 9, the Saints. They're going to go ahead and they're going to beef up their defense as well with Will Johnson, one of the best coverage corners I've ever seen. His ability to break on the ball, just his eye, his vision in the quarterback's lane, steps up into pass lanes. We saw 4 pick sixes in his career at Michigan, the notable one against USC, an absolute baller, took it all the way to the house. I believe it was a 45-yard pick six, and he can just break on any ball. He can wreak havoc, and he can beef up any secondary and be an instant plug-and-play starter, and that's exactly what I have him doing there for the Saints. Number 10, the Chicago Bears. They're going to get an absolute steal here. I had them drafting Will Campbell at offensive tackle, such a solid 4-year starter in the SEC at LSU. That's an insane feat. An All-American in some of his years there as a Tiger. He just really anchored down that left tackle position, and he added just an absolute stud to protect any quarterback that was there. Jaden Daniels, and most recently Garrett Nussmeier. So Will Campbell is going to provide depth and protect your new quarterback in Caleb Williams. 68 sacks allowed last season, looking to definitely bring that number down the wrong side of history there for the Chicago Bears franchise. Number 11, a team that has lost a lot of talent this offseason, the 49ers. It seems like everyone they had just sort of branched off in free agency, explored other options. They weren't able to retain a lot of people. Deebo Samuel's gone. A lot of your defenders are gone. A lot of notable names gone on that defense, so they have to go here and beef up. And this might take a little bit of digging, but I think this is a perfect fit. Shamar Stewart, a guy that impressed at the combine. Great speed, great athleticism. He explodes off the line. You can pair him opposite side of Nick Bosa, and much like the second pick with Abdul Carter pairing up with Myles Garrett, you have another young guy off the line pairing up with an all-pro great mind in Nick Bosa. You can really learn behind him and create, again, a hard, untouchable pass rush duo there. San Francisco looks to repair some of that defensive front and get a young stud looking to explode. Number 12, the Dallas Cowboys. This is where I have my second running back coming off the board, a guy that I am very high on. It might take a little bit of scrolling, but Amarian Hampton is the most well-rounded player in this draft. I'm going to go ahead and say it. He can fit up protect his quarterback, block in the backfield. He can break off routes. He has a great route tree going. He can extend runs far beyond the way they were supposed to be ran. He can keep running, evade defenders, run guys over, hurdle them. He can do everything. He is your Swiss Army knife there in the backfield. You pair him up with a trusty Dak Prescott that knows how to throw the football, and then you have your all-pro receiver CeeDee Lamb signed on a big contract. That offense could just overall be ignited by getting a well-rounded guy such as Amari Hampton, and it could open up a whole new lane of versatility. You have to guard so many studs, so many all-pros there on that Cowboys offense, and they really could take a whole new step up if you get a guy like Amari Hampton. Number 13, my Miami Dolphins. Personally, what I would do, looking at this spot, the guy that I've wanted for so long, again, takes a little bit of scrolling, Nick Amonwari, a guy that really sticks out to me on the board, so well-rounded. We need to fill that safety spot. Javon Holland obviously exploring other options, signing with the Giants in free agency. You need to fill in that depth. We've been a little low, obviously, and Jalen Ramsey as well looks to part ways with the Dolphins. That secondary, it just seems like it solidifies a secondary pick here in the first round. Takes a huge hit this offseason. Nick Amonwari, a guy that just ball hawk abilities and able to step up in any pass lane. He's physical. He'll hit up in the box. He'll go stop the run game, an area that the Dolphins have struggled in a little bit. He just adds so much versatility, so much depth, and he makes so much sense there for Miami at number 13. Number 14, this one's a no-brainer for me. It's Tyler Warren. Here is your guy, your Swiss Army knife. We talked about Amari Hampton being a Swiss Army knife. Not as much. Tyler Warren is the Swiss Army knife. He is the Taysom Hill of this draft class. You want a guy that can run the ball? Check. You want a guy that can catch the ball? Check. He set the Big Ten record for everything pretty much with the tight end. Penn State record, everything with the tight end. He is just so well-rounded. Runs the ball, catches the ball, passes the ball. If you need a pass, he can do anything. Tyler Warren adds so much depth. He's going to play there alongside a great Anthony Richardson. He's going to play alongside of Jonathan Taylor. He's put into an offense with studs already in it. So that could open up their playbook whole much more. That's what these guys do. That's what these Swiss Army knives do. They open up your playbook. They give you options. Amari Hampton, Tyler Warren, there's so many studs. He's going to prevail in Indianapolis. I mean, they don't have that much depth at tight end. He's going to be an instant plug-and-play guy and a guy that makes an instant day-one impact. I really like Tyler Warren there to the Colts. Number 15, this is going to be another Georgia defender. It's Mykel Williams, if I can find him right down here. Mykel Williams, perfect. He is the 15th ranked prospect, and he's going to go 15 here to the Falcons. They lost Grady Jarrett this offseason. They've had a little bit thinned out on defense. Mykel Williams can get off the edge. He's big, he's physical, he's fast, and he provides exactly what you're looking for there in Atlanta. He helps them with their pass rush, something they might struggle with a little bit. Their running defense, again, something they might struggle a little bit with. Mykel Williams, overall, just a baller out of Georgia. He really stepped up in his final season. He had a great freshman season. Then he came down in production a little bit. Then he stepped up his senior season. He looks ready to go in the combine. He looks ready to go overall. And I have him taking 15 to the Atlanta Falcons. And the Arizona Cardinals sitting here halfway point, number 16. We're going to have to scroll down a little bit and find the big Josh Simmons. He missed the latter half of his 2024 campaign, the national championship run, with an ACL injury. But he's going to bounce back, and you're going to pair him alongside Paris Johnson Jr., his teammate at Ohio State, who's been holding down the right tackle position. You're going to plug in Josh Simmons at left tackle. They just recently departed with their guy. I believe it was Jonah Williams. I could be wrong on that, but they departed with their left tackle recently, so this seems like the no-brainer. If Josh Simmons is sitting there on the board at 16, you pair him up with his right tackle teammate in Paris Johnson. They have a great relationship. They were seen talking at Combine Pro Day. Josh Simmons fits right in with that mold, and you protect your franchise quarterback in Kyler Murray at number 16. Number 17, a team that is dire for defense, a team that is just exasperated on that defensive side of the ball. They signed Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, their big three, to huge contracts. They need rookie instant plug-and-play help. They need guys that can come in and make an instant impact, and that guy is going to be James Pierce. You have to scroll down a little bit for him, but you should not be able to. James Pierce is just so good. He played so well for Knoxville, for UTK this season in the 2024 campaign. He gets off the edge. He beats you with athleticism. He hits you with finesse. He is a guy that gets in the backfield, gets guys down, tackles for loss, sacks. James Pierce is one of the best defenders in this whole draft class. I love this prospect, and I love this pick at 17. If the Bengals are able to pull it off, you have to pull it off. They go out and get their guy, and like we mentioned, needing instant plug and play, that's exactly what James Pierce produces there, and he will thrive in Cincinnati as a Bengal. Number 18 for the Seahawks. They need a little help on that O-line, beef up their new O-line, protect their unit in Sam Darnold. 3-year, $100 million contract, and they're going to do that. If I can find my guy here in Tyler Booker at the guard position. They got Charles Cross, who's been holding it down at left tackle. Now you can throw in Tyler Booker, pair him alongside, and protect your blind side of your guy in Sam Darnold with Tyler Booker. Plug him in at left guard. And the Seahawks beef up their unit. They can assure that offense some more. You still got Kenneth Walker, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Now Sam Darnold recently added. Jake Bobo, who I'm very high on. You have so many guys that are able to make plays, and now you beef up that O-line to allow them the time to go out and make those sensational plays. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a team that's been a little thinned out on defense as of recently. I have them going with another Alabama prospect. It just seems like year after year they're producing straight guys like a factory. That's pretty much what Alabama is. It's the NFL factory. You go there, you play, you're probably going to the NFL. Jahad Campbell, that's not going to be any different for him. He's going to join a talented Buccaneers squad, a young Buccaneers squad that still has potential to go out there and make these runs. Mike Evans is still producing. Baker Mayfield is going into his prime years. He's still on a big $100 million contract, 3 years, my apologies. You have other studs, Bucky Irving, who's coming off a sensational rookie year. You're gonna get Mike Evans again, who has great. Chris Godwin, back off injury. That's the name I was looking for. You're gonna get Chris Godwin. So this is a team that just keeps building themselves up. Todd Boyle's coming into his 4th, 5th year as head coach. They can really come out here and they can produce. You beef up that defense a little bit. This is a team that was primed to make a playoff run. They just had to face a Jaden Daniels-led team in the wild card round. This is a team with a ton of talent, ton of skill. You add another great linebacker that can play in coverage, and there you are, right back again in the playoffs. The Buccaneers add a great linebacker in Jahad Campbell. Moving on to number 20, the Denver Broncos, coming off in a sensational year with rookie Bo Nix at quarterback. They're going to give him a receiver to work with. Alongside Marvin Mims, a little shifty slot receiver, you're going to get a sure deep threat outside receiver in Tetero McMillan. Tore it up at Arizona, one of the best receivers in the country, while everyone was asleep. Those 10:30, 11 o'clock games there at Arizona, Tetero McMillan was working. I watched him a couple times late at night, and he was out there cooking guys on Hawaii, on UNLV, on Nevada, just in non-primetime slots late at night. He was just out there doing his thing, and he's an absolute stud. I do believe if he slid all the way to 20, I don't believe he will. I believe someone will either go up and get him or he'll go earlier. But in this mock draft, I have him going at 20. If you can get him there for the Broncos, that is insane value. That is absolutely absurd. You take him, no doubt, no questions asked, and you give your rookie quarterback going into his sophomore year a beautiful target, a great, big, deep ball threat. He has the ability to put those balls down there, and McMillan has the ability to go up and get them. We could be witnessing something scary in the Mile High City there with McMillan going to the Broncos at 20. And number 21, a guy that really climbed boards due to the combine. He's made some noise for himself. It's Jackson Dart. It's the quarterback out of Ole Miss. We've seen questions about it. Mike Tomlin not available for Jackson Dart's pro day. That drawing a lot of questions. I don't think that's going to come into play here. I think the Steelers, they're known for taking risks on quarterbacks recently, as they've taken, Kenny Pickett out of Pitt. Jackson Dart, a guy, he's similar to Kenny Pickett in play style, but he has had phenomenal film over his 2024 campaign. He played very well when it mattered, besides for maybe the Florida game, for instance. But when he played Georgia, he put on a show. He had great games all season, and I believe Jackson Dart is going to be taken here. It's a chance. It's a risk you're willing to take, because if he comes out here and performs very well, that's great value at 21. He climbed up boards as of late. So if you can get Jackson Dart here, you take a chance on him, you develop him a little bit, that could be a sign there for the Steelers. There could be a future there. And it's a bold take, but I think it's one the Steelers are going to be willing to take here. We've known they've done it in the past, so why not give it an opportunity? Jackson Dart I have going at 21. Definitely one of the most interesting picks here in the first round. Moving on to number 22, the second tight end taken off the board. It's a great tight end class. I have Colston Loveland going to the Chargers, pairing up with Justin Herbert, and just what's an interesting offense. Colston Loveland, obviously, he played under Jim Harbaugh at Michigan, which is a big influence for this pick. He knows his guy, he recruited his guy, and he can come get him to play at the next level, pair him with his franchise quarterback in Justin Herbert, and just try to make some absolute plays. Brock Bowers, we've seen rookie tight ends tear it up recently. Brock Bowers absolutely tore it up his rookie year, and they're going to want to replicate that success from their division rivals, go out and get a rookie tight end of their own in Colston Loveland, and come out and make some absolute plays. Coming here at number 23, it's the Green Bay Packers. I think they're a team that has already a very decent secondary. Xavier McKinney, obviously Jair Alexander, but I believe they're going to add to it. They're going to go out there and get Jahdae Barron, a guy that held it down for Texas all season at corner, played absolutely out of his mind, great coverage, one of the best corners in the country. He's going to provide that depth, play alongside Jair Alexander, learn behind him, see what he has to do, pick up his flow, pick up his style, and then you could have two amazing corners, two young corners that are ready to play. They shut stuff down, make the pass game so hard on opposing teams, and you can have a scary secondary, obviously. And then you pair Xavier McKinney at the top playing safety. This is a team that can make a ton of noise and make it very, very hard for you to play against. Moving on, number 24, a very interesting team. Year after year, the Vikings just get more and more interesting. No matter what they do, they always end up in an interesting situation. That's just the word to describe the Vikings. They're picking at 24, and for me, I have them going, and they are going to take Derek Harmon, the defensive tackle out of Oregon. I think he just had a sensational past 2 years. He played very, very well. Obviously, Oregon was unanimous number one going into the playoffs, but unfortunately, they ran into the best college football team that season. Absolutely got wiped by the Buckeyes. But Derek Harmon was a guy that was producing all season. Very, very good. You throw him on that line for Minnesota, a line that has recently lost some guys, that needs to be beefed back up, that needs to be picked back up. Derek Harmon can provide a day one plug-and-play starter. He can switch up the pace there in Minnesota. He can give you some flexibility, give you some options, and he can make a very, very interesting case there at number 24 for the Vikings. At number 25, I have what seems to be another sure pick if it slides. It's Kelvin Banks heading to the Texans. The Texans, a team that lost their best left tackle, their best offensive tackle in Laramie Tunsil, traded to the Commanders. So I think the Houston's just going to go out and they're going to replace him at left tackle with Kelvin Banks, a guy that held it down all season for Texas, a guy that protected Quinn Ewers, his quarterback, all season, a guy that's just going to continue to grow, continue to be great. He's going to learn under a good O-line, and he's going to protect C.J. Stroud, their franchise quarterback, for the long haul. I believe the Texans are a team that's going to be very, very good still for years to come. So sad about that Tank Dell injury, not going to be able to see him out there next season. But still, Kelvin Banks is going to be able to come out here, give depth, give versatility, and just anchor down that left side of your line, protect C.J. Stroud's blind side, and beef up that line even more when they are in dire need. Moving on, number 26, the Los Angeles Rams. I believe they're going to beef up their secondary. A lot of good corners, a lot of good safeties in this draft class. It's going to be Maxwell Hairston for me. Maxwell Hairston, my apologies. Maxwell Hairston. He's going to come out here out of Kentucky. He was holding it down. He's able to snap off routes, get in front of balls, deflect balls, make great plays one-on-one against the man. He is just a great corner. You're going to add that depth to the Rams, and hey, maybe even you add Jalen Ramsey in the offseason as well. You bring him back to Los Angeles. But Maxwell Hairston, you're a young guy. You're going to develop him in that secondary. You're going to pair him alongside great defenders, and you're going to have him learn. You're going to have him anchored down the side of your defense, and he's a guy that I believe has great potential, great upside, and he can be one of the most premier cover corners in the league if he continues to develop at the right rate. I believe he'll fit in very well in Los Angeles, and I believe he will play great football for the Rams if that's the spot that it's taken. Number 27, the Ravens. I have them coming out here making a pick that's going to hurt my tongue, a pick that's going to be hard to announce, and a pick, frankly, that's hard to find. Hiding him from me, it's Jonah Savanaia. I know I butchered that. I know I didn't say that right. Jonah, let's give it another attempt, shall we? Jonah Savanaia. A lot of syllables to that. Very, very hard, but it's not a hard pick if he's there on the board. I don't know why they had him so low, so ranked so low on this mock draft simulator. Jonah is a guy that tore up at guard. He's a great interior lineman. He tore up at Arizona. He helped protect his guy there in Noah at Arizona, played alongside McMillan. And I just have him coming out here and being a sure piece, protecting your guy in Lamar Jackson, protecting your backs in Derrick Henry, Keaton Mitchell, all those great guys, giving Lamar Jackson time to make these stellar plays, these highlight reel plays that we see week after week. So I believe Jonas Savanaia is going to be a great addition to that offensive line, and he would be a great pick here at 27 for Baltimore. I actually felt pretty confident about that last pronunciation, I'm not going to lie. And then number 28, the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lights. They do have bright lights on them, but it's still the Lions. The Detroit Lions here at 28. A team that upset, very, very heartbreaking upset against the Commanders in the divisional rounds. Had the 1 seed. Commanders came into Detroit, got business done. It was just a harsh scene. Very, very tough scene. But I do believe Mike Green, one of the best defensive edge rushers in all of college football, had the most sacks in college football. I believe it was 17 sacks. He's going to look to replicate that success with the Lions, and he just seems like a guy that Dan Campbell would not pass up. We know they're not afraid to pick guys based on their outlook and not other people's outlooks. I mean, they take chances. Jack Campbell, Jahmyr Gibbs at 6. I mean, they liked Jahmyr Gibbs at 12. Apologies. They like to make these picks based on their evaluations and what they think alone. So I believe Mike Green, he's a perfect player for Detroit. He'll fit right into that defense. He'll add instant versatility, and you pair him alongside great defenders. Aiden Hutchinson coming back from that leg injury, brutal leg injury there, suffered against the Cowboys. But that defense is just going to continue to buffen up, continue to get better, and continue to bite kneecaps. Mike Green, the perfect addition there to Detroit. The Commanders here at number 29. I believe they're going to come out here and they're going to get a great player. It's a suggestion player for them, Donovan Azaraku. These last names are trying to take me out today. I'm not prepared for this. I need some heads up with these last names. But Donovan Azaraku is going to come out here. I know I butchered that one. That one was probably the worst one yet. Going to come out here and play great defense for Washington, a team that can add depth. They continue to add players. They continue to beef up that roster. He's going to come out here. He's going to play great edge rush, great defense for the Commanders. He's going to continue to load that team, a team that just sadly couldn't bring down the Eagles last year in the NFC Championship. They look to get better. They look to improve. They look to beef up, again, that roster, that chemistry, everything, and they look to run it back in the 2025-26 season. And that all starts here with Donovan Azareku out of Boston College at that edge rush position. Moving into the 30s, number 30, the Buffalo Bills. I believe they're going to come out here and they're going to beef up their corner, their secondary as well. It's going to be Azare Thomas. These names, as we just go down the board, keep getting increasingly more difficult. They're trying to make sure I'm still awake. But I believe that Azare Thomas is one of the best corners out of FSU. FSU has had obviously great corners come out of it. They've seen stellar play. I mean, they see guys come out of their prime time, for example. Primetime, Jalen Ramsey, just great guys coming out of FSU. It seems like a school that produces reliable corners, and why can't Azare Thomas be another one of those promising corners? He absolutely can be. He has all the traits, he has the ability, he has the potential there, and the Bills are going to take a shot on him. They recently got rid of Kaiir Elam, a guy that didn't work out out of Florida for them a couple years ago, so they're going to go to their rivals and see if they're producing anything better across the way in Azare Thomas, and I believe he does provide, again, that premier potential and the ability to be great there for the Buffalo Bills, and they're going to take a chance on him at 30. Moving on to 31, the Kansas City Chiefs, a team that had that disappointing Super Bowl loss. They didn't need the three-peat. Glad it didn't happen, but now they're still here picking at number 31, a team that has picked very, very good in late rounds as of recent. They have found their talent. They have made their picks. They have gotten studs, and I believe they'll continue that trend. They'll continue to pick well, and it's Walter Nolan, a guy that's been very good for Ole Miss on that defensive line, a guy that gives them very good depth, and a guy that's very strong, very physical. You pair alongside George Karlaftis, who was pick number, I believe, 32. It might have been 31 because the Dolphins had to forfeit that pick back a couple years ago, but you pair him alongside some great edge rushers. You learn, obviously, behind great guys on that D-line like Chris Jones, George Karlaftis. We already mentioned some more great names. and you continue to beef up that team, beef up that D-line. We know the way that they run that defense, the way Andy Reid has that team going, the way Steve Spagnuolo has that defense going. They're going to be back in a position in the AFC Championship. They've been there 8 straight years. Why not 9? We know they're going to be competitive again. We know they're going to be good again. And Walter Nolan looks to be a guy to learn and help them get back to that position. And finally, ending off the round, it's the 2025 Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles. They got their chip. Very happy for all those guys. Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts all got their ring. And it was great. It was honestly great to watch. In that secondary play was unreal. The 2 rookies, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell. I had Quinyon Mitchell to the Eagles, so I was very excited to see him tear up when he did. Cooper DeJean, obviously just a stud out of Iowa, one of the best players in that whole draft class. And now you're going to go beef up that defense, that secondary even more. If I can find him, it's Malachi Starks, a guy that I have closing off the first round, and he is an A+ grade there. Just absolutely wonderful for Georgia in that time there in the backfield. Great stud, made some crazy interceptions. The one against Oregon, fading backwards on top of his head, looked like prime. He just looked absolutely amazing. It looked like prime Josh Norman there with that interception against Oregon. But that is my 2025 draft class, and honestly, I'm just picking based off what I believe would be the best fit for every team. There's no trades, but I believe these fits make the most sense. And all these teams, you get guys that just elevate them and help them at the next level. I believe it's just going to be a draft class full of studs, a draft class that can truly make a difference, and a draft class that is going to help these teams for years to come. The talent just keeps getting better and better out of college, obviously. We see NIL, crazy situations going down. Nico sitting out, trying to take $4 million a year at Tennessee, getting kicked out, going to UCLA, taking a pay cut. It's insane. The way that college football is moving now, these guys getting paid. So the NFL draft is going to keep getting more and more interesting over the course of its years. I believe this year is a insanely loaded class. I believe they're going to continue to be insanely loaded classes, and the talent is just going to keep getting better and better and better. And these teams, even with their salary cap buffs, are going to keep getting better and better and better. And the landscape of football is just going to keep getting more and more entertaining. I'm very excited for this draft class. We see the draft. It's coming up. It's close. We see the draft April 24th in Green Bay. Very excited to see it all go down. Thank you guys for tuning in to episode 14 of the Brogan Hillman Show, the NBA playoffs, the NFL mock draft, and I love you all very, very much. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn notifications on, but most importantly, make sure to keep God number one. It's been Brogan, and I'm out.